Yeah, right.
Yeah. Please use your mic.
Aw.
I know. So it says we're live.
Okay.
Even though what I've noticed is every time I go back in and do timestamps, it
Yeah.
catches us live before it tells us it's live. So any weird or embarrassing thing we might think that nobody will see, everybody sees. And y'all are still here. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Living BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream while we record our audio podcast that is available on all major podcast apps as of Friday. This is the live stream. We're here 8 minutes early. If you arrive after the stream, but before I put timestamps in and don't like idle chit chat, fast forward 8 minutes. If you're here for the stream and don't like idle chit chat, I feel like we need to talk about your habits and why you arrive early with us. But also you have time to go do what you need to do. And why do I feel like there's more to my spiel and I can't remember what it is? I can't remember what it is. And I'm being told that I exist. Thank you. Thank you. I'm super hopeful somebody would tell me if they couldn't hear us like that one time. But we've got the green flashy thing telling us that sound is going through the magic that is a microphone.
Yep.
Even though this microphone on me is scratchy and doesn't sound quite right anymore, we're aware. Before anybody puts a comment, I'm aware. That's me notifying my tech guy. Hi. Now I'm going to say hi to everybody who's here. Hi, Missy. Hi, Blown Deuce. Hi, Computer King. Hi, Junie. Hi, Rara. Hi, Taishu. Hi, Safi Hawk. Hi, Tara. Which one did we decide? I want to say it right. And I'm American. I'm going to say Tara, but that might not be what you want to be called. Hi, Mick. Hi, Faye. Hi, Little Miss. Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
So, hi, CW. So we are here. Still, we have 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So this is the butt rub portion. If you're new, we call it the butt rub because it's the warm up. And when I get warmed up, I get my butt rubbed. I'm just saying. Oh, that's going to be fun. We've got a JB. Hi, JB.
Oh, goodness.
Not to be confused with this JB. Hi, JB.
A doppelganger.
Well, I have name twins with, there's Kayla's that'll show up and I'm always like,
I know.
hi. Tara. Yeah, Tara? I'm going to keep saying Tara until you go, stop that. And then, because now I don't remember what I said first the last time.
Okay.
Hi, Isndoc's mom.
So, in response to your scratchy mic,
Yes.
we're probably going to have to take a trip to the music store.
Oh, darn.
And buy a new mic cable, because what happened was when we moved everything, we had the 5-mile cables that we used to use in the condo when it used to have to go
y'all should have
across the
seen
room.
how it was strung out in our living room.
So when we had the original configuration here, still using those cables, all right, and we had the scratchy
Yes.
mic problem prior to that when we went to shorter cables, at least on your mic. When we moved everything,
Lola is snoring and dreaming, so she's snoring and yipping.
Yep.
I don't know if the mic is picking it up, but she's doing it.
So when I moved everything, the 5-mile cables were a nightmare when I was trying to figure it.
Sure.
So I dragged out one of the old short cables.
And it's a bad
Yeah.
cable.
So we
Bad
may need to do some cable shopping.
Aww.
I know you're disappointed.
So we are wearing our own logo shirts
Yep.
this week. They were gifted to us, so I do not have links. Although I am doing things in the background, not in first quarter of 2022, but I'm doing things in the background that maybe there can be a shirt. Maybe. There is a way that I think there will be a shirt later this year, but I don't think it'll be a gray background with the logo. I think it's going to be white, but I don't know. But also, isn't this interesting? I'll talk about that in the bonus section because it relates to our Patreon. Blah, blah, blah. Hi, Tiana. Hi, Andre. So, yeah, no links to our shirts, but these are, to this day, super, super comfy, a little oversized, which makes me happy. I don't look like I am, but we are both doubled up on our shirts because these are our 5 minutes of air quote cold in Florida, and we don't handle it well. My fingers are freezing. I have
Mine
fuzzy
too.
socks on. There you go. There's fun.
I've got socks and slippers on.
And before anybody asks, the recovery is clearly going well because I got my leg up.
There you go. Look at that.
I did that pain-free,
Yeah.
so I might regret it later.
We've had our 2 days of winter. Yesterday and again this morning, we woke up to heavy frost.
Yes. Like warm your car up before you drive away.
You know, I know we can't complain
and
here
we're
in
not,
Florida, and we're not. My dad called me out of the blue yesterday.
Your dad put you in your place real quick when you were talking about how cold you were. Like,
yeah, I know.
Real quick. I heard that one.
Where my dad is at, their daytime high temperature was -5.
I know. Jimmy's over there going, yeah, it got down into whatever, 30-something. We had frost. It's cold here. We're cold. And I can hear his dad, who's got a German accent because he's from Germany. And it's not that thick, but I can hear it. And I could hear him through the phone, and I could hear him just go, well, why don't you try -5 in the daytime? And I was like, I think you were told.
Yep.
Told. Hi, Lisa.
I got told off on that one for sure.
So, yeah, and I've seen a few things when I've been watching on social media, like reels and stuff, people talking about their weather, and I'm just like... Now, up in the panhandle of Florida, a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer... which is in a town I used to live, which I think is one of the actual highest points in Florida because we're like at sea level around here. One day, yes, the ocean will reclaim us. But they were talking about a light dusting of snow. I told the kids, who, even though we moved from that town when the 16-year-old was like the 7-year-old? No, the 6-year-old? I can't remember how old he was when we moved. He was probably the 6-year-old because his brother was about 2, and there's the 4-hour difference. Even then, he went, they got snow and we're not there to see it. When will I ever get to see snow? And I was like, baby, just enjoy it online. Like, I've gotten to see light dustings of snow. I've never had to be like in serious snow. But also the time it snowed when we went to London, I nearly busted my ass trying to walk anywhere. That was not fun. And it was cold and wet. And even the light dusting I got to experience when I was in Baltimore several years ago, it made my jacket wet, and that was not pleasant. I was like, no, baby, you like the idea of snow. You like the fantasy of snow.
He has no clue.
He has no idea. The dusting of snow in that town in the Panhandle would have been interesting, but he just thinks he wants snow. I'm like, maybe you're an indoor cat from Florida. I just
someone
don't think
who
you
grew
want
up with snow, the last time I saw snow here in the States was 2009, 2010. And then again when we were in London.
And even then when we were in London, everybody was like, I cannot believe it's, one, snowing at this time of year, and two, that it's sticking.
Because that was in March, yeah.
Yeah. No memories. It is exactly noon, and I saw that Silent Wing didn't taste you were here. Hello. We are gonna get started. So like I said before, no links for these shirts. If you like what we do here, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing. We just surpassed 6,000 subscribers.
Oh, cool.
It took for fucking ever, but we did it.
And once you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get updates and new content.
Look, if making daddy happy is important to you, then by all means. However, if you like to tweak authorities' nose, then, don't.
Yeah, but you know how the song goes, you fought authority and authority won.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Okay, there, I lost our monetization. We always talk about our Patreon. The link is down below, but we're going to actually talk about Patreon again at the top of the bonus section at the end, like we did last week, because we're in a membership drive and there's a lot of details, and I want to cover them then and take time for folks who would care and want to listen to it. So there, if you arrive later, I did detailed timestamps last week. I'll try to do semi-detailed again this week. So you can find that if you're interested, or you can skip it if you're not interested. And that is all of the whatever. You can hit the button.
Okay.
And then we will go into the whatever. Okay. I was worried you couldn't remember the button. Did you have a moment where you're like, oh shit, what button?
No, I had to check something before I hit the button because of our little kerfuffle earlier.
We have so many kerfuffles. If we're recording something, there are kerfuffles. Yeah. Before we get into the episode, I just want to thank this week's sponsor. Once again, it's Beducated, the Netflix of sexual wellness. Actually, the insert vanilla online course site of sex is what they are. Beducated is an online course platform with easy to follow audio, video, and written guides to help you have more of what you want in your sex life, your kink life, your relationship. This past week, I checked out 2 classes. So I started with the Dom and Sub class because, like we talked about last week, I log in and I go straight to the kink section. There's so many other sections, y'all. There are sections on relationship. There are sections on communication. There are sections on actual sex. There's so many sections. But I'm here for the kink. We know this. So I checked out the Dom and Sub course, and I'm not going to lie, I was slightly disappointed in it. It's very, very, very basic. So if somebody came to me and said, I know nothing about BDSM, I know nothing about power exchange, where could I start? I would go, this might be a good place to start. It was a fully written tutorial guide class instead of having video or audio. It gave very simple examples. It would in no way help somebody like us who's been doing this for a while. It helped nobody, I think, that's already in their power exchange. That would be a class for absolute newbies. So I was like, oh, well, okay. So then, y'all are not shocked. I got caught by the erotic spanking class, and I was like, what has this got to teach me? You do a lot of this already, so for me, it didn't have much to teach me. But here are some things I really liked about the erotic spanking course.
All right.
First of all, it was a mixture of video and text and diagrams for people who are constantly begging for demos of what does this actually look like. This course had it. Like there was video of, yes, nobody was fully nude because the system they were using to record video would never have allowed that. But they were like, okay, and bend over this way, and here are some position ideas, and here are ways to do your hand. And I was like,
okay,
damn, you're not teaching me anything right now, but that's actually informative and really, really, really helpful. So I really liked that erotic spanking course, and there were tons of modules, but they were easy to get through. The diagrams were great, like diagrams for don't hit here. And also, yes, you can hit here. So that was really cool. So yeah, if you are interested in learning new kink things, new things about your relationship, working on things in your sex life, whether you're single or in a relationship, definitely check out Beducated. They offer unlimited access to all courses once you become a member. They add new content all the time, and there's already tons and tons of content. I would love to see the kink section grow, but what's there is not awful. Like, yeah, the Dom subclass was super, super beginner, but the erotic spanking class was super detailed. The Shibari class was good for beginners, but super detailed.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you're trying to learn new skills this year, Beducated might be the place for you. They are offering 70% off if you use our code LOVING. The link is in the places. Podcast listeners, that's the show notes. YouTube watchers, that's in the description box. And they let you sign in for 24 hours to look around before you have to pay. So if you're like, yeah, but is there going to be anything there I want, and you just want to browse, you can do that. Just use our link and our code. And the 70% off turns it into like $7.99 a month. So pretty good for the amount of courses that are there. So yeah, check it out. Link is in the places. Use code LOVING to save 70% off at Beducated. Thanks to Beducated for sponsoring. Okay, so we've done that. The second thing I want to make sure I mention is that this Friday, for podcast listeners, it's the day this episode comes out, we are doing our monthly hangout on YouTube live stream. We go live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We stay until we can stay, and I'm glad this is post-recovery, and knock on wood, I've been having some really good days, so we should be able to stay till our usual midnight Eastern. We are changing up our formatting a little bit, and we are going to allow for some Q&A. Normally, we treat it like a very simple munch where we're just there to hang out, and you and I sometimes eat chips and dip. I don't know if we're doing that this time. We haven't talked about it, but
no.
Sometimes that's what we do. We are going to allow for some Q&A. Like the first 30 minutes, I just want to like decompress and get in and whatever. And then probably from about 10 to 11, you can ask questions. If we can answer, we'll be happy to do so. We will ignore /block /ban trolly gross questions. But
yeah,
if you've got like a genuine kink question, we are going to try that for our hangouts and see if that helps a few more people and, you know, makes them more lively. Hey, if it creates a Kayla rant on a Friday night. Okay, so that is this Friday. I
come
can't
for
remember.
The community, stay for the rant.
There you go. I can't remember what the date is. Is it the 21st? Is that what Friday is? I think so. 9:30 p.m. Eastern. If you are subscribed to the newsletter, I put the link for that in the newsletter for you. So if you're not following us on YouTube and you didn't hit the notification bell, and I don't know why you wouldn't, I will. I do give it to you in the newsletter. So there's that. Okay, so let us get into
the show.
This week's episode. So this week's episode is us revisiting old episodes again. We don't do this every week because one, we would run out of things, and two, we have other topics we want to talk about. But I'm trying to like sprinkle them through the content until we get to a point where I don't want to redo those episodes anymore, and it's no big deal. So this one is inspired by episode 5. So, and I will link to that episode in the places for anybody who wants to watch it or listen to it. And it's really listen to it because there was no video to go with it. But did I put it on YouTube? Yeah, the fuck I did. It's like 9 minutes of me sounding so wooden and so uncertain of myself. And in my mind, clearly reading. I don't know what it sounds like to anybody else. That's what I hear. Anyway, in that episode, I was responding to the types of questions I had been getting from submissives since before I'd even started a podcast, and questions we still get now, where a submissive details what's going on in their relationship, and almost half of it is just awful behavior. It's shitty, or it's dismissive, or if it's not, you know, it's, even if it doesn't rise to the level of, oh my gosh, red flags, there's that part of me that's like, no. And the person is saying, this makes me feel bad. I don't like this. You know, and then they end with, is this okay? Is this normal? And in that episode, I was like, well, when you tell me this, it makes me have questions, because there are multiple sides to a situation, and our perspectives, you know, can differ depending on what we know to be true, like all that. And I went through all that. This time, maybe I was just looking for a reason to rant. I want to talk about the central message of all of these kinds of emails and DMs, which is, you outline a laundry list of things that you say make you feel bad and that you don't like, and then go, is this okay? And it's the phenomenon of going, I identify this as shitty behavior that does not make me feel good in my power exchange. Is that normal? Is that okay? And I want to kind of talk about that concept. You are looking at me in a very bemused way, as if to say...
Well, I feel that was a bit of a warm-up rant.
Yes, it probably was. It probably was. So, I don't know where to start with this, because when I was prepping for this episode, my mind was really clear and logical, and I was like, oh, here are my points, A, B, C, D. Yes, I know exactly what I want to say. And now... my mind is a jumble, and all I want to say is, are you fucking kidding me? So let's start here. I'm going to be using a lot of examples from messages from submissives, detailing bad behavior and then going, is this normal? That does not mean that DOMs don't experience this and have their own questions and curiosities and confusion when a submissive exhibits bad behavior, and they may wonder the same thing. It is also not to say that DOMs are the only ones providing the bad behavior, because people who are submissive can be shitty people too. It happens. But I think the source of this question, and the reason it's frustrating. Once you get dozens, you're frustrated. But also kind of sad to me when I hurt for the people going through it, is because of the fantasy idea that in power exchange, when you are the submissive, the slave, the little s of some kind, that somehow you are supposed to expect poor treatment, shitty treatment, disrespectful treatment, manipulation, and all of the bad things. Mm-hmm. And so, because there's that, I get the fantasy, and the fantasy's hot to me, but kind of this gross thing of you as a submissive are here to be used, or you are here for my pleasure alone. That's great when you negotiate that. I find that kind of hot, thanks. But that's not the base level of a relationship. That's not the standard practice, standard care of a relationship. And because submissives tend to be placed in that position when they're in not great relationships, or dealing with red flags, or dealing with abusers, or they have internalized that maybe that's what submission is, and they're recognizing, wait, I don't like this behavior, and so it makes me feel bad, and so therefore am I really submissive? And so that's why the focus of this for me is on submissives asking this question. Mm-hmm. But I just feel the need, so I don't have to deal with the email, the comment, or the DM that's like, Doms go through this too. I know. I know. We know. So I kind of thought, well, let's talk about the is this normal, is this okay question when dealing with bad behavior. Before I go off on what will be many tears and rants, I'm sure, what do you think?
I think lots of things.
About this.
Well, let's, I have a couple different thoughts.
Okay.
That kind of tie into all this. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it was kind of funny. I was scrolling through FET earlier today, and I came across something that somebody had written, I believe, or was a meme. I don't quite remember. Memory's first thing to go, they say. But at any rate, it was basically saying that and I'm going to use this as reference, brats.
Sure.
Okay. It basically said in no short terms that brats do not misbehave to be bad. Mm-hmm. They misbehave because they want to be taken. They want to be pushed.
They want you to earn their submission. They want the idea being, not all brats, obviously.
True.
They want, it's almost like you have to prove your dominance, like show that you're strong enough to handle this. Yeah. I would say that there are definitely some.
And, they get such a bad rap. It's kind of like when you hear people talking about alpha submissives, so to speak. Yeah,
that's on my short list of topics to come. Yeah.
And, it's just like you, because you yourself are such a strong person. You've had people say, you are not submissive. You can't be submissive. Yeah, I know, right?
For podcast listeners, I'm sorry, I made a face.
She made a face that
I thought gagging into the mic might be a little off-putting.
Yeah. So, and this kind of loops back to even a little bit longer. A couple weeks ago, I came across somebody's writing on FET, and this poor person was literally at their wits' ends. They had joined a group on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And apparently, because this person is a little, and they also identify as a brat, everybody in this group was berating them because they identify this way, they are not a true submissive.
Oh God, the moment somebody throws out true fucking anything, I'm done.
So, it's not just even in relationships that stuff like this happens.
Oh yeah.
it's in communities.
Absolutely, because human beings want certainty, and we live
Yeah.
in a very squishy, uncertain world. And so it's
So-
like, this is how I define a thing, and anybody who doesn't define it this way is, quote, wrong and on the outside, and this is the true way. And you find that in every community and every type of person. But,
So
I hate it.
what was happening, this person, because it was every person in this group, nobody defended them in this group.
Oh, God.
Okay? They were questioning their identity.
I hate that.
Yeah. So, yeah, is this normal? No, that is not normal. Your identity is who you identify as.
And here's the thing. I want to challenge the question of, is this normal? Because I think that we think about normality, what's the word? I don't know, in really funky ways. Because here's the thing. Lots of shitty things are normal, and that does not make them okay. So to ask, well, is this normal? Well, if all of your experience with BDSM communities is of them berating your identity because it does not align with theirs, sadly, that might be normal. The real question is this okay? The answer is no, the fuck it's not. Are you two consenting adults who have consensually agreed that you will do this thing and you've worked it out for yourself? Guess what? Hi, have fun. And that's one of the problems I have with the is this normal question, because there's a lot of shitty behavior in the world.
Yeah.
It's very normal and also very wrong.
Right.
So I feel like part of it is, let's stop asking, is this normal? Because that's not the right question to be asking. If you're asking, is this normal, that's not going to give you the information you need to make decisions that are right for you. The question should be, is this okay? And then I also have an issue of, stop asking me if your situation is okay or not. Ask yourself, which gets into other issues. We'll get there. Go ahead. Okay, sorry, had to interrupt with a rant.
That's okay. That's okay. And that's pretty much what I had to say on it. But it's not just in relationships that you have to watch out for this stuff. In some cases, it's communities.
Absolutely.
And I was not friends with this person. I happened to come across this writing of theirs through somebody else, and I responded to them, and gave them an answer, and they, or not really an answer, but kind of a perspective maybe, and a lot of other people had responded in kind, which was good, and I think it made that person feel better in and of themselves.
Yeah.
So it's whether it's Facebook, whether it's Discord, or even FetLife, or Kick, where a lot of communities are springing up, which is fine. It's nice to see, but in you find good in all these places, you find bad in all these places, and when a majority of people start to telling you that you're not valid, or you're not this, or you're not that, get the heck out of Dodge.
And that comes back to, that's very easy to say, hard to do. And I think that something that somehow the social media algorithms, they both terrify me and get me sometimes. Because a lot of what has been showing up in like my Explore, my For You, or my whatever it's called, where I'm not choosing what I'm looking at, has very much been some, I can't think of the term, but that sort of powerful, introspective, know your worth and make decisions on that, and worry less about what other people think of you, what they're saying about you, if they like you or not. And I think some of that vibe plays in here. So it is tough to be the person on the outside of a group when you are already doing something outside of the quote norm, the mainstream, right? So to figure out your kinky and to go, look, I found a community, and then find out that community rejects your identity for bullshit reasons. It's very hard to find the inner strength to go, well, I know my worth, fuck y'all. Whereas once you've been doing this for a while, if you've had those opportunities to connect with people who accept you as you are, get you, support you, and you're able to grow into your identity and feel secure in your identity, that becomes a lot easier. You and I are definitely at this level. We know several people who are at this level where I'm like, I'm not here for you to fucking like me or accept who I say I am, because that doesn't matter to me. And I can and will leave a space or a situation or a group if I've got that internal feeling where I'm being made to question myself, because outsiders who don't have to live my life, know me at all in any real meaningful way, are judging me or not approving of what I'm doing. But that's a little bit of it, of when you find yourself facing a situation, whether it's you're a new Kingster and you're in a new relationship, or you're in a new to you community and you're being made to question yourself, or you're being made to feel bad because the behavior is shitty. And instead of asking the question, well, is this normal? Sadly, maybe so. Is this okay? The question shouldn't be, is this okay to other people? Which by the time you're emailing me, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody else to tell you that this is wrong. Whereas what I would love to encourage more people to do is go inward and go, it doesn't even fucking matter if Kayla Lords thinks this isn't okay. I don't think this is okay.
Yeah.
And I'm secure enough at this point in who I am and the way I will and won't be treated and what I will and won't allow to remove myself, because that's not okay to me. And I know that we are all at different points in our path on this, and not everybody is at that level, and it's a struggle. And sometimes the strength to get away from the bad situation comes from somebody you trust and an outsider's opinion to give you that view. But my little bit of woo-woo bleeding heart self wants everybody to get to that place that can go, this doesn't serve me, and this is bullshit, and I'm not gonna be treated this way or be made to feel this way. And they're gonna bounce without needing the outside validation, although I'm here to provide it in as many rants as I can. But
now, somebody mentioned something in the live chat, which is really apropos for this. The quote is, "The way of nature is change. The dream of man is order."
Absolutely, because we want certainties and constants, and we want to predict what will happen next, so we don't have to feel uncertain or worried about outcomes. We want to know what, and obviously there are always people who don't fall within this, but the majority of us in the bell curve, most of us are at that point and that center of, give me certainty, make sure I don't have to really question anything. If I know what to do, then nothing can go wrong and life will somehow be easier.
Yes.
And
unfortunately it doesn't work that way, because change is coming right around the corner.
Change is constant, and quite frankly, the most interesting things are in the squishy middles. It's in the nuance. As somebody who just got accused recently of not being nuanced. Hi. The fun stuff is always in the nuance, because while we are all similar on a lot of ways, and in some meaningful ways, right? We are also all unique individuals, and we're going to find our way forward in different ways, and all of that can be true at the same time. And I say that as an anxious person who would kill for certainty. I really like patterns and I really like routines, because then there's less to worry about, because I know what to expect and what's coming next. And I would love to live my life that way. And also I recognize and I am empowered by understanding that I can change, people can change, things can change, circumstances can change, and my opinions on all of it get to change. And I get to make a decision about a situation based on the unique factors of the situation and me and the person involved. And I could have a similar situation but with a different person and make a different choice. Like in some cases, I'm going to be very firm with you and go, that's shitty behavior. You need to fucking run while you can. And in another situation, I'm going, well, let's ask some questions. Let's think about this. Have you thought about that? And both get to be valid at the same time. So bring that back to power exchange. Let's go with the example of, I'm a submissive and the dom I'm with is doing all these shitty things, and I feel bad about myself. Two things can be true at the same time. You can negotiate that shitty treatment for a scene or part of your dynamic because you've got maybe a degradation kink or there's something about it. And you can give your input, have your boundaries respected. understand and have expectations of what that will be like when it will occur. You can also at any point interject and go, yeah, we got to stop, or we got to change. This is why. Let's talk about it. And that can be okay. And the exact same behaviors can be applied in a non-consensual, non-negotiated, no way out other than to dump their dumbass way, and it be completely wrong, right? Like, which is why I get very eye-rolly when people apply what they think they know about kink and BDSM and some of the activities that we sometimes do, and assume it is all bad or wrong. It's like, well, yeah, that would be bad or wrong if I didn't fucking agree to it, like it, want it, and know how to make it stop when I'm done. But you add all of those caveats and now it's perfectly okay. So that's why the question that I want more people to ask themselves, or me, or whoever you reach out to, is not, is this normal? The question is this okay? How does it make me feel? Does it make me feel empowered as a submissive? Does it satisfy me? Is it exciting in a good way? Do I feel like I have a voice in this situation? Could I change the parameters a little bit so it's more satisfying to me? Can I have those conversations? Am I free to be who I am? Well, guess what? It's probably okay, and it doesn't have to be okay to anybody else on this fucking planet. But if the answer is no, it makes me feel like shit. It makes me feel less than. It makes me not want to submit. It scares me in a way I don't like. You have to make those distinctions in kink, because sometimes I'm terrified, but I'm turned on, and I'm like, bring it on. And sometimes I'm terrified, and I'm like, stop, right? And if the internal answers you're giving yourself are all in the negative, then the answer is no, it's not okay. And then, of course, you have to do the, okay, what's next? Where do I go from here? And then that becomes another conversation to have with yourself. Can I just say that this is yet another plea for folks who have not experienced introspection in whatever way that looks like for you, to try it. I get that there can be reasons why that's difficult or not as intuitive and natural to somebody, but just what do you want? What makes you feel good? And submissives, you're not wrong for asking yourself those questions and deciding on the answers, and then deciding that what this Dom is providing isn't it, and you don't want it anymore. Like, you have not failed as a sub. You're not less submissive. Everything in Power Exchange is about everybody involved in the Power Exchange getting as much of what they want and need as is possible. It's the Venn diagram of what you want, need, and will and can provide, what I want, need, and can and will provide, and then the crossover.
Where it meets in the middle.
Where it meets and where it intersects. That's our sweet spot. And if there's no crossover between you and that other person, and you're actively like upset, appalled, hurt, bothered, whatever, what are you doing there? That's not a statement about your submissiveness or your whatever your kink dynamic is, whatever your role is. That's about the compatibility of you and that person. That's all that is. And there is somebody out there, sadly, much of the time, they're far flung and across an ocean or a continent, but there is somebody out there who will make a very nice Venn diagram with you. And it will work. You will have to work for it, but it will work. Let's toss out the people who are not in a good Venn diagram. Your Venn diagram should not be two separate circles.
No.
Where are your compatibilities at that point? I've already given myself a sore throat.
Wow.
I guess I just wanted an opportunity to rant about this. So some of the things I see, which are not everything out there, but where people ask themselves these questions, it's when somebody, they don't ghost fully, but they do what I always call temporary ghosting. They're gone, and then they're back, and they're gone, and then they're back. And in that radio silence time period, they didn't tell you where they were going. They don't apologize for it when they come back. They don't prep you for it. They, nothing. You are just left hanging, right? That makes people feel shitty most of the time. Like, we tried it on purpose one time, and both of us like couldn't do it. I cannot imagine being in a air quotes around this word relationship with somebody who just dropped off the fucking planet and then came back like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And I should have been waiting with bated breath and grateful they returned. No. That if it makes you feel bad, it's bad. It's not for you. It doesn't. Sometimes it means the other person is engaging in shitty behavior, and sometimes it's what is a word? Words are hard. It's about expectations and each of you having different expectations and not having talked about it. But you can have the conversation, discuss your expectations, and still go, yeah, I'm not down with that. And you're fine. But yeah, a lot of the messages that come with that, is this normal? Is this okay? Question.
Yeah.
Are things that in the examples I have and the experience I have with it of so-called DOMs treating their submissive partner as if their only reason for existence is to wait upon the pleasure of their dominant partner. And so therefore those dominants do not think about, care about whatever, their submissive partner as a fully functioning human being with the needs of their own, with desires of their own, they don't care about their feelings, they don't care about what they want or aren't getting. It's like, oh, you exist to please me. And that's a person who is absolutely living purely in the fantasy world, okay? Like, if you negotiate that, and the submissive goes, yeah, that's cool, this is kind of a way I'm happy to experience this dynamic with you, then okay, go for it. I hadn't met that person yet, but I'm sure they're out there. But most of us are seeking connection. It doesn't have to be we're going to get married and live together forever connection. It doesn't have to be sexual connection, but it's connection with the other part of you, the other side of the coin. Like, I'm a submissive and I feel more submissive when somebody I like is dominating me. This would be great. And then the dominant just flutters the fuck away. And now we've lost that point of connection. And there are a lot of things that go into power exchange and what creates healthy, fulfilling dynamics. But one of those things is absolutely some level of connection. Whether that connection is, oh, our kinks align, or, oh, you like this kind of power dynamic, I do too. You start from that point of commonality and then you go, okay, how else can we connect? Or you're married in a vanilla life and you're connected that way. And then you figure out your power exchange and build the power exchange around the way you're already connected. Like, but it's connection. And if you're a dom who's just like up and vanishing or treating the other side of the slash like they don't actually fucking matter to you, and I would assume that they don't matter to you, and then what the fuck are you doing here? You're not creating connection, and there's a huge disconnect. And then I'm getting emails from submissives going, is this normal? I don't know if it's normal. I don't know how typical it is, but it's still bullshit. It's still bullshit. And quite frankly, if you're at a point where you have to go, is this okay? Is this normal? You know it's bullshit. You just need somebody from the outside to, like, validate that.
Yeah.
Oh, I went on a rant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you did. Well, here's one that I have run into a lot. An S-type meets a big D. And the big D tells the S-type, well, I'm polyamorous, non-monogamous. You need to be too. Okay. And the S-type is like, well, I'm not poly, I'm monogamous.
Right.
You know, but is there something wrong with me because I'm not? Because he's telling me, you know, you have to be part of the lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. It's right up there with all the messages we were getting for a while of, is everybody in BDSM in open relationships? Are you required to be non-monogamous? Right. I was like, I know more monogamous people than non-monogamous, so I'm going to go with a no.
Yeah. So, you know, that's something too. You know, yes, you do see a lot of poly folks these days in BDSM.
Sure.
Is there a requirement to be?
See, we're back to trying to create rules and structure that we can depend upon. So there's familiar patterns, so we know what to expect, and we can never be surprised, which means we can never be hurt, which means we can conform.
Yeah.
And the irony is that BDSM and non-monogamy are outside of conformity. Because conformity is a binary. Conformity is we're all cis, we're all het, we're all married, and you're only having sex so you can make babies. And many of us have rejected that without being kinky or non-monogamous. But let's just say in the kink world and the non-monogamous world, clearly we're rejecting those ideas, right? So, and not all of us, I get it, but as a whole, we're already going, oh, I see your puritanical view on this, and no thank you, fuck you. I'm gonna go do this thing that's considered deviant or just, taboo and stuff we're not, quote, supposed to do because some authority decided to create order in some part of the world that made enough people feel secure, safe, whatever, for about 5 minutes until they all started, people have always been pushing against these, quote, norms, right? Just whether they did it loudly or they could connect to other people so they didn't feel alone. That's like a whole lesson on the history of humanity, though this is not the scope of what we do here. But I get it. I know that it's human nature to want to create certainty for ourselves, but I do find it deeply ironic that the people who are like, I'm going to throw every social norm that some part of my family or the adults in my life or culture and society tried to teach me. I'm going to throw all of that shit out the window and go be a fucking deviant who's having a good damn time. But when I get there, I'm going to repeat those patterns and try and create that same norms and structure so that we can never question anything. And I'm like, but to get to kink, you had to question everything. What the fuck are we doing? I know that's not helpful, but these are the thoughts that come to mind. That come to mind. You know what? I will say this, and this shows the limitation of my own imagination and how it's easy to get boxed into kind of thinking that life kind of follows a specific path. I am so used to having conversations of non-monogamy in kink spaces that it is jarring. Sounds like a strong word. I don't mean this in a negative way, but it's a little bit jarring when I stumble upon non-monogamous conversations online, social media accounts, whatever, that are not at all kinky in the way I would define kink. Certainly, like, no power exchange. I don't know what kind of sex they're having. I'm not asking, and it's like, that's right. You don't have to be kinky to be non-monogamous. Right. Obviously. Yeah. I know that. But my lane is that I personally overlap the two. My Venn diagram is very much, those two have...
Right, and there again too, you can be one or the other. You don't have to be both. It's not exclusive to the other. So to say, well, you have to be this, you have to be that, it's ludicrous. I'm going to say this. I have said this before. What it comes down to is it consensual? Does it make you happy?
Can you change the parameters whenever you need to?
Yeah. Be you. Be you. And be happy with what you have.
And this is
and don't worry about what someone says it should be.
Right. And this, I think, is hard for many people, not for all people, but for many people to go, I'm going to create this very unique path for myself. And I'm going to walk it. And I'm going to travel along this path, whether it's kinky or non-monogamous, it's in a power exchange, it's whatever. And I'm going to do things that, while I am cognizant that there are other people around me and you have to you be mindful of that consent and all that, I'm going to do what makes me happy. I'm going to do what makes me fulfilled. I'm going to do what is right for me in this moment, knowing I'm allowed to change my mind when I need to. And I'm going to walk this path through parts of my world that will not get it. They won't understand it. They won't like it. Yeah. They will think I'm doing it wrong. They will be doing it just differently. And many people are very freaked out when somebody does something different from them. And I'm going to walk this path anyway. And I'm going to do it unapologetically. Now, let us be real. There are situations in life, in terms of gender, sexuality, race, all those things, where you have to consider your safety in that moment, and please keep yourself safe as you need to.
Sure.
But even then, with safety on your mind, there are ways within yourself to be authentically yourself, to understand who you are, and to move through the world and move through life being, to the best of your ability and as safe as possible, your authentic self. And to do it without apology, without, you know, in a perfect world, going home and questioning yourself. With all my cis, het, white privilege, am just now learning how to do some of that. To go, I'm a kinky person with an idea of what that means and what it means to be in a healthy relationship, and ways that I look at the world and how I want to move through the world and the relationships I want to have and what I want to talk about. And I'm going to do that publicly, and I'm going to do that authentically, and I'm going to do it even when there are plenty of parts of my outside life or in the outside world telling me how wrong I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one very narrow example.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I don't pick and choose when and where I do that and how I show up. Like, I get to have boundaries too. I am authentically Kayla Lords everywhere online. That does not mean I go to the grocery store and I'm Kayla Lords in the way that y'all see me here. Like, I pick and choose when that works for me. But on my inside, I know who I am, and I am secure in that, and I'm unapologetic about that. And if I got into a conversation with somebody, I'd be like, yeah, this is who I am, unapologetically. That is difficult. That's difficult because of what we've already talked about, society and culture and religion and family and friends and the people around us our whole lives have told us and taught us, and what we've taken in and what media shows us and what we've internalized for ourselves, and our traumas and our mental states and emotional states and illnesses and chronic like all the things, all the government, like what outside pressures are trying to tell us who we are and should be.
Yeah.
The more you have to overcome that, the more difficult I can imagine that must be to overcome it. But I see people every day from all walks of life embracing, this is who the fuck I am. I have done my research. I've done the work. I'm doing the work. I'm figuring this out. I will be imperfectly myself. I will fix it when I fuck up. I will, I'll change my mind when I need to. But this is who the fuck I am. And I would love for more Kingsters to be that way, and / also go, this is who I am, and I'm happy with me, and I've worked hard to fucking get here. And also, that's who you are, and I don't get it, and it's not what I want, but I honor and respect it because you did your work to get where you are. And there's no judgment from, I do it this way, and I figured out this path for myself this way, and you walked a different path and had different circumstances and came to a different conclusion, and you're living your truth and I'm living my truth, and I am fucking okay with it. And also, I know exactly what I'm not okay with, and you get about 3.2 seconds to be not okay before I'm gonna tell you gotta go, because I know who I am. I make that sound so easy. I'm still working on it. But also, it's where I wish we could all get to.
I mean, I do not, and I hope I do not ruffle any feathers with this. That's not my intention. I came into the lifestyle. Let's talk about what's norm or accepted.
Sure, typical might be a better word.
Maybe. When I came into the lifestyle, when I discovered there was a community that did the things that were into the things I was into that I never knew there was a community for, there was still a lot of old guard in the community at that time. And there still are some. Then
Oh, sure, they haven't gone away.
They haven't gone away. And that kind of then moved a little bit more into what I was always more familiar with, was the high protocol. Okay, and on the tail end of that came the daddy doms, baby girls, the caregivers, littles. And many in the community frowned upon that.
Oh God, and they still do.
And they still do.
Oh.
And I applauded when the local dungeon that we went to at that time, they were like, okay, this is something. And they actually dedicated a space in the dungeon to littles. They created a play area. They had movie nights and sitter nights
And sleepovers
and
pajama
movie
parties.
night.
Yeah.
You know, they embraced it. And I see the same cycle happening again with the new generation coming in. And I find it amazing. Okay? You know, not to say that, and there is nothing wrong with old guard. There is nothing wrong with high protocol. But you know what? In order to grow, in order to maintain, everything must evolve.
And I
It
feel
has
like
to grow.
what it means is there's room for more ways of doing it and more perspectives, so that the idea of what is normal, which I find funny to use in a BDSM context, like what the fuck is normal around here, that it gets to expand. It's a little bit, I don't know how we keep coming back to this, to non-monogamy, because that's not what this is about necessarily. But it's like that idea of I see poly people talking about a lot, that, and I learned it for myself, the first time I ever felt compersion, which is that feeling of happiness and joy at seeing your partner's happiness and joy with another person. And I might have explained that imperfectly, but that's my understanding of compersion. Anyway, is that in a poly situation, the idea being that the more love that you express to others, it's not an issue of scarcity. Like you get this little pot of love and you can only dole it out, and once your pot's empty, there's no more love. The more you express love, the more you feel love, the more love you have. It's the Grinch and your heart growing 3 sizes that day. Like, it expands. Love expands into more love, ideally in good situations. The kink world feels similar to me. The more that we embrace diverse ways of expressing our kinks, of expressing power exchange, of finding ways that suit the individuals involved, instead of creating these rubber stamp norms. What the fuck does that even mean in BDSM? We expand our world. And quite frankly, and I have seen, I don't get into these conversations because I don't care enough, I've seen grumblings of, if BDSM is mainstreamed, will it be subversive in BDSM anymore? I mean, maybe not. Do I think that's going to happen in my lifetime? No.
Probably not.
But
no.
what it would mean is that there's no single definition of what a relationship should look like, or what sex should look like, or what connection with another human being should look like. And whether you call what you do vanilla or just non-kinky, when I say the term vanilla, that's not meant to be a pejorative. That's not an insult. It is just an identifier of kinky versus non-kinky. I mean, what would that even mean if everybody has the freedom and knows they have the freedom to find their path in life with a relationship, with a point of connection with another human being, sexual, romantic, platonic, doesn't fucking matter. And it didn't, and there were no norms, and there was no us versus them. And the idea, the concept of BDSM and power exchange expanded, because there are constants, there are definitions to the words in BDSM and power exchange. The power exchange is a negotiated power differential between people. Somebody is the top, somebody's the bottom, somebody's the dom, somebody's the sub, somebody is in control and has power, somebody else relinquishes control and power to some extent. And quite frankly, there are a lot of people in this world going through what looks like really like clumsy, unsophisticated power exchange, but that is clearly power exchange, and they can't call it that, and they don't know it's that because they've never negotiated it. Like in marriages, let's use like our cultural standard here. In heterosexual marriages, cis-het marriages, first of all, there are the stereotypes that wives take care of their husbands, which I lived that life. I'm not all about it, thanks, because it wasn't reciprocated. I'll happily take care of you. What do you need me to do? How do you need me to make your life easier? What can't you do that I can provide? But also, we've talked about it. You know I'm providing it. I'm not a silent, like, exhausted person who's feeling resentful.
Right.
We talked about it. You said, I'd love for you to provide that. And I went, I'd love to provide it. When I am tired, when I am overwhelmed, when I am feeling resentful, I have the freedom to come to you because we already know what we're talking about. And in exchange, you're doing for me. Mm-hmm. So it's weird on some levels. I have an identical marriage from my first marriage to my second, but the first marriage was misery. Even though there were a lot of stereotypes we followed, we fell down so many like stereotypical rabbit holes with, I badmouthed my husband and my coworkers. I thought of him like a third fucking child that I had. But when I look at the activities of what I did a lot of the same things. Mm-hmm. But the mindset was different. The negotiation of it was different. The way we approached it is different. Everything about it was different except the activities.
Yeah.
So what if we expand who we, quote, allow into BDSM? It's only going to grow, and it's going to give more people freedom to either go, hey, I do like taking care of my partner. What I don't like is being taken for granted. Oh, but I've now been able to witness that there's this thing out there where I can take care of my partner, but there are parameters. I need to talk about it. We need to negotiate. My partner needs to be on the same page as me. We need to like be giving and taking in the ways that speak to our strengths and speak to our desires. And what if we create that space for people simply because we allowed what's normal, big fat air quotes around that word, to grow in the concept of BDSM? Like, I'm not here for some exclusive fucking club where I tell people I don't like the look of that they can't fucking come in. I don't have to understand your dynamic, like your dynamic, or ever want it anywhere near me to go, you got consent? Y'all communicating? Everybody being risk aware? Okay, have a good time. I'm not judging. I might not like something. I might have an opinion about how it's done, but I get to have opinions and they get to live in my head. That goes back to a thing that is another rant for another day. And it's a tricky one, but it's this idea that just because you think a thought don't mean you have to say it publicly for everybody to hear. Not everything has to be expressed. Thanks. And I would love to work on that too, because that action is what makes a lot of us go, okay, is this okay? Is this normal? Because all of these other people with their opinions about what I'm doing have told me their opinions about what I'm doing. And now I'm questioning everything about myself, which goes back to my point of my big like wet dream is that we all get really fucking comfortable with who the fuck we are. Yeah. And we walk our path in life and we connect to the people we're meant to connect to, and we ignore the fuck out of the people that we can't connect to. They're not our people. It's not our vibe. And that's okay. And it gets to be okay. And that, yes, is oversimplified, easier said than done, will never happen because people are way too complex and messy, and all of us have our own issues to work through. And I am very hot after that. So if I want to try and make a point out of this, my stomach is growling. Sorry, y'all. If I want to try and make a point out of this, who fucking cares if the question is that you're living a situation and you're miserable and you want an outsider's perspective, or you're trying to think through it yourself? The question should never be, is this normal? A lot of shitty behavior throughout the annals of history have been normalized, and it was bad behavior. We don't now throw the is this normal question away. Also, you're kinky. Not that none of this is normal based on societal, cultural, media standards. Okay. The question is this okay? And while I understand the need for an outsider's perspective and sometimes some validation, you don't quite trust yourself yet, you're not there yet, okay. Start internally. Is this okay to me? Does this make me feel good? Does this make me feel empowered? Is this the life I envision for myself? Is this the life I want for myself? Is this the relationship that I want to have? Not should you, not do you deserve, like all those judgy questions we ask ourselves. I can't help you get rid of those. If you have access, I recommend therapy. But what is it that I just want? Like the fact that we can go from here's the standard that some part of our life has told us we're supposed to do, which is non-kinky, and make the switch to actually, no, I'm kinky and I'm going to embrace that and I'm going to go get a relationship, means that on some level, some part of you is able to trust what you want and go, yes, that's what I want. I'm going to go get it. You already have that ability within you. Let's grow that ability and go, okay, I ignored all societal norms to come do this kink thing. And I handled it and the world didn't end. Okay, now what do I want from this? And if you're in a situation with a partner or in a community, and the answer to, is this okay in all of these parameters is no, I don't like how this makes me feel. I don't like who this is turning me into. It's making me actively not want to do the things I wanted to do 5 minutes ago. I don't like how I feel. Then the answer is no, it's not okay. Doesn't mean you're not kinky. Doesn't mean you're not a good sub or dom or whatever. It means you're in the wrong place with the wrong people. That's that.
Now take a breath.
Ooh, and somebody in the live stream chat brought this up, and I like that. Is this healthy? And I would say that is instead of is this normal?
Yeah.
And I think that is a good question if you have a clear understanding between the difference between what society tells us is okay and healthy and your own internal barometer.
True.
Because quite frankly, from the outside looking in, if you have no context for some of the freaky shit we've done in a dungeon, that doesn't look healthy. I'm being beaten on with sticks. Can't be healthy, right? But I have context and I understand the nuances of it. And so then for me, yes, it is healthy. So I do like that, just with that added caveat that not everybody understands yet what is healthy for them and not, especially if you still have the voice of society, media, religion, whatever that wants you to doubt your own internal compass and yourself so that you can follow outside rules that don't make sense for your life. That is not to diss religion. There are kinky people who absolutely walk their kink path and their religious path and they find their way. I'm just not religious, and I've seen the harm that religion can do. And so that's why I said that before I get hate mail. I am very warm. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
We didn't need to turn the heat on. Just get you ranting and you turn the heat up on yourself.
Oh my gosh. I sucked up all the oxygen as usual. Is there anything you would like to add?
You did good. No, I'm fine. I think I said plenty towards the beginning. I hope it made sense. And I just want to say what it really comes down to, don't let someone tell you you're this or you're that, or you can't be this because you're that. Be what makes you happy.
And get comfortable with the fact that your happiness is important and valid. Yeah, you deserve to be fucking happy. The world doesn't have to understand what makes you happy because fuck the world. Yeah.
Be you. I can't say that enough.
I know I'm not going to say life is easier now that I'm getting uncomfortable with knowing that there's judgment out there and that I have to sometimes look at it. Like, I'm really good at not looking at what I don't want to see. Thanks. But I am becoming more comfortable with it. I'm becoming more comfortable with, I know myself and I know what I'm doing and I know what works and what doesn't. And I'm okay if nobody agrees with that. The only person I need to agree with what I'm trying to do is the person I'm trying to be in a relationship with. Yeah. Thankfully, we're still on the same page. It's empowering. It can be lonely. I love this community here because a lot of us live vastly different lives. Like, nothing is the same. But we all feel free, hopefully, if you don't hide, consider this your invitation. We all feel free to be who we are as long as we don't shit on somebody else's reality in the meantime, right? So
don't yuck on my yum.
Don't yuck on my yum. And I'm not going to say more than that because I could feel another rant coming and my throat already hurts. And it's finding spaces like that where we don't have to agree on every single fucking point. We don't have to agree on every single major life thing.
Right.
We don't have to have the same kinks. We don't have to have the same power dynamics. We just have to have basic human respect for one another and respect that for the fact that I don't have to understand your reality to honor your reality.
That's true. That's true.
And that's the kind of community I'm almost never interested in a community's personally. This is not that I think that they're not good or valid. I'm not interested in joining communities that are specific to power dynamics. I think that's where you get some dogmatic thinking, because it's like, oh, we're all this dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Let us define what this dynamic means.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm also not usually comfortable in pure vanilla spaces anymore, because my kink life permeates every other part of my life unless I put up a specific barrier, like parenting, right? Like going out into the world under legal name to buy groceries, to meet with a teacher, to whatever. Like there are clear, like it's a wall with a door. Like I can let it through, but not obviously. But the rest of my life, I want to be... I don't want to be afraid that my bio might say sex writer and kinkster, right? So I tend to be more comfortable in predominantly kink spaces and less comfortable in purely, air quote there, non-kink vanilla spaces.
Sure.
But I just want this, whatever space I'm in, to just respect the fact that I got my reality and you got yours, and let's just try and get through it together.
Yeah.
So that's what I got to say about that.
We're all valid.
We are, and I will happily tell somebody that I think their opinion is shitty, but only if it's causing harm to others. I'm not about to tell somebody that the way they express their identity is shitty. I'm not about to tell somebody the way that they express their kink is shitty. That's not for me to fucking say.
Right.
Not in any shape or form. I'm over here just trying to get through my day with myself. I'm already enough of a hot mess. I can't sit in judgment on other people's hot messes.
True.
So,
True.
okay.
Right.
I'm fine, I think, being done and going into the bonus section.
Okay. So, are we good?
I don't know, but I'm hot and sweaty and I've drank all my coffee.
Okay, then I'd say we're good and time to move on.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh. Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Dottie.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets, please?
But you've been talking all this time. You were complaining earlier that you've got a sore throat. Are you sure it's in your best interest to keep talking?
I'm a masochist who will power through. The sore throat does not bother me that much, thanks. I kind of like the pain. It's a reminder of what we've just experienced together.
Interesting. Well, in that case, go ahead, baby girl.
Okay, good. Because we're going to do like we did last week. At the top of our bonus section, we're talking about the Patreon membership drive that we are currently in. Last week, I was like, it starts on Saturday. We're in it now, y'all. It runs from the day this episode goes live for you in whatever medium you're listening to it in, through February 15th. So what makes the membership drive special for our Patreon is that if you are a member during this time, you will be eligible to receive goodies in the mail based on the tier you're in during the membership drive. And that's all Loving BDSM centered stuff. So at the $2 tier, it's going to be a Loving BDSM bookmark. At the $5, it's going to be probably a combination of Loving BDSM stickers and Kinkery stickers, because we control that, so I can print more if I want. And it's be a sticker pack. There'll be die cut stickers. At the $10 level, it's a Loving BDSM logo enamel pin. Very excited about that. And then at the $25 level, you get all of that, instead of having to pick and choose based on your tier. And you only have to be in the tier of the prize you want during the membership drive to get the tier goodie. So after the membership drive is over, you can drop down or go up or whatever you want to do. During this time, if you sign up as an annual member, which means you pay once for the whole year instead of paying monthly, you get 2 months for free. So normally we do it 1 month free for annual signups. Right now we do it 2 months for free. So that means the total amount you pay is for 10 months, but you get 12 months of access. So why join our Patreon? What do you get? What's the, what is happening? One, we take what we do in podcast and live stream and video format, and we do more of it. I think we're who we are in both spots, but I think you get a little bit more in terms of there's more live streams. There's a monthly Q&A, a little bit more behind the scenes kind of stuff because there's a monthly podcast that's just like bonus section-y style, but it's what we're doing with Loving BDSM and the Kinkery. We are looking at ways to add more content. We are still thinking about if we want to add a special live stream for Patreon only, where we react to different BDSM themed content like movies and TV shows and stuff. It's more of a logistics thing in terms of time, of how can we make it work with our existing schedule. Not that we don't want to do it, but that would be a Patreon only perk. Then we have the Discord server, which is small but mighty. Technically there are a couple hundred people available to be in it. But we probably have, I don't know, 20 to 40 or 50 people that are like regularly in and out, and then people will drop in and go away again, and whatever they want to do. And we talk about everything, not just kink. Different facets of life are celebrated and allowed to like have space to chit chat. So there's that. And then the thing I couldn't talk about last week, because one, it felt like way too much, and two, I don't think we had decided on them. I think, I can't remember, but we've definitely decided on them, is we've added perks and tweaked perks from the previous year to now. So at a $2 level, that's our minimum to join. You get everything I've already talked about. You get the extra content, the Discord, all that. At the $5 level, you get to ask questions early for our live Q&A every month. So the idea being that even if you can't attend the stream when it happens, your question gets asked, it gets answered by us, and then when you have time, you go back and watch the video later and you get your answer. At the $10 and up tier, you're in the credits, and we either will use a screen name if you provide one, or it's first name, last initial. We never do full names, ever. When you sign up for Patreon, you can use any name you want for the membership side, and you just have to use your legal name for payment. We don't deal with that. So you can call yourself whatever, and we'll use that name. And that is at the end of videos. It's in the show notes page. It's in the description box for live streams. And then at the $25 level, this is what's new this year, and we do not expect anybody to stay at $25 level forever. We understand it's an affordability issue for many people, but we're doing a thing that every 3 months that you're at the $25 level, so you have to do it for 3 months in a row, you get merch automatically sent to you. For 2022, we're going to focus on Loving BDSM logo merch. So the very first one is going to be a mug, and then we have to change it every 3 months. So depending on when you join, you might sign up during a mug time, but hit the 3-month mark and another time. I think the one I'm going to do after that is a t-shirt. So yeah, we're doing that this year to see how that goes. So that is what we hopefully give you, but also I was just ranting about having spaces for community that's open and accepting and understands that we all have different lived experiences and do kink differently, and that you get more of that. So yeah, it's patreon.com/Kayla Lords, or the links are always in all of the places. I have an explainer blog post that I put up on the site. I will add that link to the places where I put links for y'all if you want to go over these details like in your own time instead of my very fast-paced rambling as I'm doing right now with my sore throat. But yeah, and you get all of that because we cannot imagine taking anybody's money and not trying to provide value. What you're doing when you do that is you're helping us do this thing that we do. For anybody who's been around for a minute, last year was crazy, and we became full-time, small, kinky business owners. The Kinkery is full-time gig. This content creation, being Kayla Lords and John Brownstone on the internet is now our full-time gig. It was before, but it was mostly Kayla Lords writer was the full-time gig.
Yeah.
This is what we do now.
Yep.
And Patreon helps us do that. And hopefully we provide more than we receive. That is how I sleep at night. So that is the Patreon membership drive. Yes, everything runs through the 15th of February. The annual membership part, if you sign up as an annual member, is great if you don't want to have to worry about a monthly thing coming out of like a credit card or an account or whatever, and you have money in this moment that you're willing to spend on that, then you're one and done till the next year. The monthly is good if you're like, ooh, my income fluctuates, or I only want to do this for a little bit of time and then decide. You're not locked in for any amount of time because you can cancel at any point. And you can change your tier. You can go up and down as you need to. It's fine. And we are not offended when people dip, and we're not offended when they change their...
Life happens.
Oh my God, the amount of things I canceled last summer. I get it. So, patreon.com/Kayla Lords. Link is in all the places. One more reminder that to our thank you to Beducated for sponsoring this week's episode. If you are interested, the Beducated link is also in the places. Use code LOVING. Check them out. See if it's for you. Sign up to get some education. And I'm remembering this correctly. You're not in a contract. Like, you can sign up for a month, pay your month, and then you can. And the other thing I learned, I was reading through the material again. When you use that code and you get that discount's good for the lifetime of your account. Oh. It doesn't go away at renewal or anything.
Okay.
So there's that as well. Code's LOVING. Oh. Okay, now we're in the real bonus section.
And I just have one thing I want to say because way earlier in the live stream chat, the hangout that we are doing this Friday, that is open to all folks.
Right, that's a YouTube thing. Anybody and everybody can come.
That's a YouTube thing. Anybody and everybody can join. While we are going to be doing some Q&As there, we do have a monthly Q&A that we do for our Patreon folks.
Right. So, and giving that ability to ask questions early if you're at a certain tier and up, means that you don't have to actually be there to ask your question and get the answer. Whereas the one we're doing at the Hangout on Friday, like you said, open to everybody. If you want to ask your question, you're going to need to be there. So there's trade-offs and benefits and weigh the pros and cons and all of that.
Right.
And also, this hangout is, I think somebody else asked this as well. We try to do it on the third Friday of every month. I think we have coming up, I can't remember which month because I was looking at the yearly schedule. We'll have a couple months where we have to shift that. It has to be a different week, but we do it typically on the third Friday. Okay. What have you got that's not any of that?
What have I got that's not any of that?
Our dog is snoring in the background as usual.
Yeah, Lola is quite content on her love seat. Still have not been able to get the Lola cam working. I'm going to, at some point, probably not until after Friday.
But before next Wednesday.
Uninstall OBS and reinstall it.
That's the program we use for live streaming.
Yeah. Because everything keeps telling me I should be able to do dual cams with it, but for some reason it does not like it. As soon as I put a dual cam on, it locks up and freezes and does not play nice. Now, even today I had to go into the settings to tweak something, and it fussed and
it didn't
complained at me. So I think there's something off with the program. So I'm going to try to uninstall and reinstall. So, I haven't forgotten about the Lola cam, but trying to work through some
not much
bugs.
To watch. She's gotten into a habit of sitting on the love seat and just snoring through the whole damn thing. Yep. So.
And I have been now that Kayla is on the mend and doing some things. I have been trying to turn my attention to wrapping up the tail end of my motorcycle accident, dealing with the insurance company and the hospital ER.
Oh my gosh, which we were very, very fortunate that our health
insurance
covered a
stepped
big
in.
chunk of it,
Yes.
even though we were out of network. So I guess because it was like an emergency and blah blah blah, they like a one-time thing they'll do if you didn't have a choice.
I found that out. I almost wanted to cry with happiness.
Oh God, yeah. But I also looked at the explanation of benefits, EOB, that an insurance company will usually send to you. Ours are electronic, which is why I guess we haven't seen it. And the amount that the hospital with a straight face billed for 4-hour stay in the ER with no pain meds given. I mean, they did tests, and tests are expensive, and I get it. I get it, but it's still funny to me. I'm like, ah! And then our health insurance went, we're going to take a 93% discount.
Yeah.
And then we'll pay X number of that, and then we owed the rest. And that is ends up being covered by the motorcycle insurance, which, as frustrating as this whole experience has been, because right hand don't know what the left hand's doing, and nobody's communicating real well, and that was a sigh of relief.
Yes.
Because we won't be the payout we got from the insurance will cover what we owe without having to pay on top.
That had been that whole thing had been weighing very heavily on me.
You had been very stressed about all that.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. So it looks like that is coming to as happy an ending as it can.
Yeah,
so
if the bill will ever actually just arrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were sending us notices about how the hospital, about how they could help us pay for expensive medical expense. And we're like, yeah, but you haven't sent us the bill yet. Where's the bill? Can we get a bill?
Yeah. So, what was funny was last week I called the hospital again. And the person I talked to told me they had emailed me the bill.
It confirmed your email address.
Confirmed my email address. And I was like, I never got it. I always check my spam folder. I have seen nothing. She said they will send it again. Well, as of yesterday, still hadn't seen anything. Nothing in the spam folder. So I called them again. Obviously, I'm calling a call center because I spoke to a different person. And they told me, oh, well, we sent your bill out in the mail. We never email bills.
And that person previously said it with her whole chest that the bill was being emailed.
Yeah. So, at any rate.
Bless them. Well, all I can think is, look, you clearly don't want this money bad enough. Because we got a check we can send you.
Yeah.
If you...
Right.
Bill.
Right. Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm actually asking, like begging.
I know.
Would you please send me the bill?
Well, part of it is because the check is only good for a certain amount of time.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So yeah, that's being sorted, and we have money set aside for the eventual motorcycle replacement.
Yes.
For people who have asked, no, we cannot afford to replace the motorcycle. It's been totaled, and he is without a bike.
Yeah.
And he is sad, and I see the look on your face every time we're out and about and somebody on a motorcycle goes by. And you look, and oh my God, y'all.
I thought I was being a little bit more discreet than that.
No. And then down one of the main street off of our little side street where we live, off of where our neighborhood is, somebody up towards like the top of the street is how I would think of it, is selling their motorcycle. And I have been tempted but it's one of these like ritzy houses where the assumption is they've got, more than $5 to their name. So that's probably a really nice bike they're selling. I have been tempted to tell you to go look and just see what they're asking. Because if we had that in what we have saved.
I know.
But I also, every time we pass it, I'm like, I don't know that would be a bit of a downgrade in terms of size and comfortability. So maybe it's not worth it right now. But one of our goals over the next few years is for you to be back on a bike, riding again. Thank you very much. So we're getting there. We're working on it.
We are.
I completely forgot that. I didn't forget that I had surgery. I just forgot that, of course, we talk about it here. I don't know if anybody gives a shit. And I, the top of the video portion of this, managed to kick my leg up.
You did.
Because yesterday probably, was the first fully pain-free day I've had. I'm still tired. I still get tired easily, but I haven't even had ibuprofen yet today. I haven't needed it. So I'd say that as long as I don't overdo it, I'm in a really good place. I was able to actually roll in the bed. I'm a side to back sleeper. I, for 40 years of my life, was a stomach sleeper, and over the course of a very painful month, managed to train myself not to be a stomach sleeper, to the point that it's uncomfortable to sleep on my stomach now.
Yeah.
But the only way I get a comfortable night's sleep is being able to go between on my side and on my back, and rolling and then laying on my side has been impossible since the surgery. And last night didn't get enough sleep, but the sleep I got was the best because I could actually move back and forth. So I was like, okay, that's a good sign. So I'm not gonna like go out and like run a mile down the road or anything. I wouldn't have before the surgery, by the way. Pretty sure if I overdo it, I will hurt myself. But this is the best I felt since pre-surgery.
Yeah, you
kicked my leg up in the air.
I know.
I mean, it was not graceful and it was not even easy, but that's issues that are about my flexibility.
You did it. You did it.
I did do it, and I did it without thinking.
Right.
I've been fortunate enough, knock on wood, to not have to recover from too many things in life. So these things are surprising to me. And having to be consciously aware of how I sit down on the toilet was an experience. It was like, oh, wait, okay, we have to do this a certain way. And just going to the bathroom had been a pain in the ass, as you might imagine. And the past couple days, I've just unthinkingly like plopped my ass down and been like, and then realized, oh wait, I didn't have to do this ease down motion thing I've been doing for a few weeks.
You didn't have to do these crazy contortions. Yeah.
Oh, I had a whole weird method for getting down pain free. Not gonna lie, I've never been so grateful for a bidet attachment in my fucking life as these past few weeks. If you're interested, we got ours off of Amazon or whatever, but highly recommend a bidet attachment for your toilet. Highly recommend. Can't imagine using an actual full-fledged bidet, like moving from one seat to another. Like, that's weird to me because that's not my experience. Yeah. But the attachment, oh yeah. I keep telling the kids we need to get a bidet attachment in their bathroom because I don't use their bathroom because it doesn't have one.
And they give us this look like horrified.
And then I tell them, you don't have to use it, but I could use your bathroom. I don't even like using bathrooms now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a bidet attachment
yeah.
on the toilet. That was way more than anybody wanted to know about me. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah. What else? What else? I think maybe parts of my libido might be coming back.
I know.
Oh yeah, I surprised the hell out of you the other morning. I woke up horny, and I was like, we can't have penetrative
do anything
sex.
About it,
and I was still in enough pain that I would have been terrified of an orgasm. But I was like, hey, let me pretend I'm gonna seduce you for like 5 seconds. I'm not seductive. I can't. I get 5 seconds in of I will make my desire clear, and then I'm lost, and somebody has to take over, and you did, thank you. And I was like, well, where the fuck has she been for all these years? Right. So yeah. It's weird. If this is a sign of things to come, and the ability to actually get turned on actually comes back consistently, we will probably revisit the episode we did like last year or year before on the lack of my libido. I have some theories, but I don't know for a fact what's potentially helping. But I have some theories. So yeah. I don't think it got cut out of the video that's coming out on Monday. We did a story time video today. And normally it's Ella who's meowing in the background. And this time it was Onyx.
Yeah.
She jumped through the window that's open that connects the bedroom to the office. And she walked under the tripod, jiggled some wires, was like looking around and meowed. And I don't think that got cut off. It's a very scratchy, rusty meow.
Yeah.
Like she barely knows what her voice is for.
She sounds like a Denny's waitress that's working the third shift and's been chain smoking all night.
Yeah, she does. She's got a 2 or 3 pack a day habit.
Yeah.
Sounding voice.
Yep.
Sounding meow. But yeah, I think she's in the background of that video. I was like, well, hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots more we could talk about, but we try to save some of that for the hangout, which is this Friday, the day of the podcast going live for any podcast listeners. So don't want to say too much. I mean, I don't know, but I guess the question is, are we doing chips and dip this time, or?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know either. I don't feel like I want to stress eat my way through a live stream like I have in the past. I don't feel that way, but chips just always make me happy.
Yeah.
I love potato chips.
Yeah.
I say this as somebody who has to look at myself when I edit videos, and I'm like, with this new setup, I see more than I had to see before, and I'm like, maybe you should eat fewer potato chips, but they taste too good. I don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't hurt me to eat less of that stuff. I try to keep my carbs to a minimum, and I try to keep my carbs to the kind I really, really want. With everything going on the way it has been, I ate my feelings through the holidays.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm on a new journey of trying to learn and figure out my own gut health. Because when I was on keto, strict keto, I loved it because I felt good and the food was so delicious. But diets that restrict too much are not good for my mental well-being. I have slowly had to come to terms with that. And there are foods that I just really like and want to be able to enjoy in some level of moderation.
Yeah.
But my body is like, that was a bad idea. And so instead of, I did try to go back to keto, and I couldn't do it. Even though the food was still just as delicious, I was like, I'm not feeling as good as I did the first time around. For different reasons. I think that was absolutely tied to my mental well-being and health. And so now I'm embarking on but what's going on in my stomach that means I can't eat these things that everybody keeps telling me I should be able to eat? What do I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. And so I think I will probably always err on the side of fewer carbs make me happier, but there's so many carbs I want to eat and have been eating, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I just am tired of feeling miserable because I ate anything, whether it was healthy or air quote healthy or not. So that's like my thing for this year. I think we might have talked about that in the goals episode.
We did, yeah.
So I'm slowly working on it. I'm not asking for advice. Thanks for any well-meaning comments, but I'm not to the point I want advice. I'm figuring myself out. So, yeah. Okay. I think we're done.
I think we're good.
Y'all know me. I could keep going.
She can, folks.
That's why we keep having to schedule more live streams. I could just keep going. But yeah, that's it for us this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll talk to some of y'all on the Friday night hangout on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're subscribed to us on YouTube, hopefully notifications let you know when we go live. But if you subscribe to our Loving BDSM newsletter, the link is always in the places. We put that link in that newsletter on Friday. So you've got it. You just have to remember the whole 9:30 deal. Yeah. And we will have a segment of that be Q&A. If anybody has questions. That's new for us this year. We did not do that in the past. And patreon.com/Kayla Lords. If you're interested in membership and want to read more about it, I will also link to the blog post I wrote if you want to get the details before even going to the Patreon. It's fine. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Always glad to have you here with us.
Yeah. Glad to connect and be part of a community together.
Absolutely.
We love it. We will talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye. Click the buttons.